Morning. So, here's a little Tucker update. He and his mommy, Daisy, have been moved up to a grass paddock between my two houses. And it's a pretty sizable paddock. It is up on a knoll, so there's not risk at all of it being muddy or anything that could be, compromising tiny little feet. However, it's very sand based, so the grass quality is not top of the line, which is in a way it's good too because it's also his little tiny digestive system being introduced to grass. He's super cute watching him try to eat the grass because he doesn't understand he can splay out his front feet and like eat between the scissor. He puts both front feet like directly out in front of him and then dips his head in between the two front feet. It's really very cute. He's handling it quite well. I did witness his discovering the electric, and I'm glad not only did I witness it because then I don't have to worry about not knowing how he discovered it or how traumatic it was. I actually got to see how he discovered it and how traumatic it was or wasn't. He was busy licking the top rail of the fence, and when he eased himself back off of that, he touched the electric, which in that paddock is extremely weak, but it's enough to give you kind of a static shock. So his introduction to it was enough to go, oh, that's scary, but not so much where he felt like somebody punched him. I've been zapped by electric fence, and I couldn't believe how incredibly painful it actually was. He reacted by, oh wow, and ran over to his mom, and he got in kind of the nursing stance, like with his butt towards her face and his head towards her flank, but he didn't go try to nurse. He just kind of stood there and he went deep in thought. He just kind of stared into space. He went deep in thought, and it was really cute to see him kind of process what just happened. He's laying down, taking naps, swishing his little tiny tail. The bugs have been pretty extreme in the last couple days because the humidity was pretty intense in the last couple days. So today he got his first fly spray experience. That's been caught on video. I try to catch every new thing on video. I don't really want to, I'm not going to have you watch him be fly sprayed every single day. But I caught his first fly spray on video, and I no longer have to show you him being haltered or led. Although yesterday, I will say, on the way back from the paddock, I have this little spring fever statue thing with either three foals, or it's supposed to look like frames of an action that a foal is making, where it's like a big leap in the air. Well, he did exactly that. Like, that's the first thing that came to my mind, even as he was doing it. And all that, he understands the feel of the line on his halter. So, I took a steady, but not strong, steady tension downward, and looked him straight in the eye and said no, which he knows because he's learned what no means when he bites, which he doesn't bite anymore, but I'm not going to say he won't go through that stage. I always tell people that get foals, they go through stages, and then it's almost like it goes on repeat. And you can't let them get away with it ever, because then, when it goes on repeat, it's more intense, or it never stops to go on repeat. It just stays as a steady part of their existence. So anyway, I held his halter or his lead line in a downward pressure. He was already back on the ground, but I said no, and he looks at me like, okay, that's not a good thing to do. I get it. It was like the acknowledgement that he gave me of he understood he was corrected for that through just my verbal and a feel of downward. Like, upward is not good. We don't do that. That's another thing. Like, babies rear. And if you don't get ahead of that, you're going to have a 16-hand 2-year-old rearing because nobody told him that that's not how we do this. Or, like in his case, it was play, you know, but then eventually they learn that it's a way to defend themselves as well. This morning, it was the first morning they went out in the dark, up in the grass. They go out in the dark since he's been born, but he went out in the dark up in the grass this morning for the first time. So my heart, you know, I have a hard time pushing them out of the nest, so to speak, no matter how old the horse is, when they try something new or when I introduce them to something new about their routine. And I kept telling myself, don't look again. You appreciated your last view. They were standing quiet. They were not running. They weren't acting like they were worried or didn't know why they were where they were. Nothing was stressing them out. It was a good final view. I have no idea if that phone call just changed my... yeah, it did. Alright. Shoot. I don't know if you can still hear me or if that phone call just changed things, but the only last thing was I kept going against my just freeze that in your mind. So every time I looked out on them, they were fine, they were happy, grazing. When I let my dog out, now that's the part that I wanted to talk about. When I let my dog out, my dog is a Great Pyrenees, and she immediately goes down the stairs and hits the fence and then barks and runs the perimeter of the fence with a very big, I'm here, hear me roar type bark. It caused mom and baby to run probably about 15 feet. Within 15 feet, mom's back to grazing, baby's back probably catching his breath because it was a sudden thing, and completely relaxed. That was so good for me to see that it was almost a spook in place, and her calmness makes her even the better mommy ever, because she was able to tell him, oh, that's just that dog, that dog, you guys talk to each other sometimes in the barn, and he was able to calm down right away because she was calm. I'm sorry she had babies. I have nothing to do with why she had babies, but man, is she a good mommy. She is a